Oh, just got to work it. Hey, I'm Richie, and I'm a therapist and motivational life coach. And today I'm going to help all you couples out there that are looking for some support and help with your relationships because I know they are challenging. So let's get right to it. So today what we're going to talk about is 5 reasons why most relationships fail, and then I'm going to give you 8 steps you can take today to get your relationship back on track. I'm not selling you anything. We're not doing any of that. This is pure information that you can use today to help you get your relationship back to the way you want it to. Okay, so for the 5 reasons. Number 1, most couples wait until it's almost too late. That's why I say almost. It's never ever too late. So there's probably been a lot of disagreement-related offenses over the course of several years that have kind of got you guys at each other's throats, so to speak. There may have been an obvious offense, which is what we consider cheating, but disagreement-related offenses are typically ones that are a difference between opinions, values, and perspectives. And that's what happens to a lot of couples. They argue about things that think that one person's right and the other says that it's wrong. So that never works out. And then another reason they wait too late is one partner is leaning into the relationship and the other partner is leaning out of the relationship. And when that happens, it's like one person is trying really hard to make things work and making changes, and the other one's kind of not doing anything and is kind of just going with status quo. I've known couples that haven't talked for years, and they come into my office for some support and some help. And then finally, there is resentment and villainizing going on in the relationship, and that is dysfunctional and toxic. Because if there is resentment going on and one partner sees the other one as this horrible person, there is no way you guys are going to have a successful relationship. Number 2, partners were never taught relationship skills. Nobody teaches us how to be in a relationship, right? It's not taught in school, not taught in college. So we only know what we've seen from our parents. So if our parents kind of had some kind of dysfunction going on, that's kind of what we're seeing, and we model because we don't know any different. Okay? They might have been a little bit dysfunctional, but did it work for them? Maybe, maybe not. But regardless, if nobody teaches us how to be in a relationship, we just go with what we've been kind of programmed to do. And our habits are defined by our environment growing up. Just like I said, it's like, that's what you know. So we kind of have these neural pathways in our brains that are kind of mapped out for us. And then we kind of react like we think we're supposed to based on what we saw. Number 3, partners argue rights and wrongs. If I ask a partner what color this pen is, one partner will say it's gray, and the other partner will say it's dark gray. And then they go back and forth thinking that the other one is wrong, and the other one's thinking that they're right. So at the end of the day, these disagreement-related offenses turn toxic, and we ended up arguing about rights and wrongs, when really it's just a difference in values and opinions or perspectives. We are both right, and we are both wrong. And some couples come in and it's like, we're arguing about the argument, and we don't even know what we were arguing about to begin with. And it's funny, some of the couples that I worked with over the years, they argue about things and say, wow, that's ridiculous. We're arguing about food, or we're arguing about a color of a pen because neither one wants to be wrong. So these arguments are classified, like I mentioned before, disagreement-related offenses that over time becomes dysfunctional and could lead to obvious offenses like cheating. Number 4, partners' reactions fuel the fire of relationship contempt. So what this means is that negatively reacting to your partner creates dismissiveness, contempt, and criticism. And when you got all those things going on, you have a very poor relationship that is most likely going to fail if nothing changes. Because what happens is when you react negatively, you are going to get less of what you need from your partner. So if you need something from your partner and you start criticizing them or judging them, do you think they're going to be open to giving you what you need or being flexible or being open-minded? No, they're going to shut you down, and that's going to make you feel dismissed, not heard, not seen, and it's going to even frustrate you more. But it's normal to have these negative reactions because, like I said, we saw this growing up from our parents, our caregivers, and we don't know any other way but to react in this way because, we get defensive, especially when I always say that, an ego in a relationship, it's the most uncomfortable threesome you can ever have. And if both partners have a huge ego, that is trouble. So, and also, negative reactions trigger feelings from our past. And those feelings typically reside in this low sense of self-worth, not being good enough, and being judged. And that's kind of maybe we had a parent that was very critical or judgmental and never thought we did enough. We were never good enough at school. We were never good enough at our career. They had huge expectations, and we just felt it like we were a disappointment. And if we have a partner coming across with that same tone, bam, we feel like a kid again, and we feel like we're in the room with one of our parents or caregivers. And then I want you to remember this: bad reactions perpetuate. I sound like what was that, Bugs Bunny or Elmer Fudd. Bad reactions perpetrate bad behavior. So if you're given a bad reaction, you're going to get bad behavior back. In number 5, one of my favorite ones, you or your partner is riding the high horse. And the high horse is one of the biggest relationship killers, because that means you say, I'm going to rise up above this. I don't want to get involved in any of this drama. And what that is that's, thinking you're better than your partner, thinking you know everything. And what that ends up doing is that ends up dismissing them because they do not have equal regard and they feel shut down. So that could be going back to their childhood. Their parents or whoever never heard them or saw them. Kids should be seen and not heard. And what that does is that hits on their self-worth, their self-esteem, not being good enough. And what do you think's going to happen when you get up on your high horse? Your partner's probably going to shut you down by either yelling and screaming, or walking away. And that's going to make you feel even more dismissed, which means you're going to be yelling more, okay? And these partners are also erroneous fault finders, the high horse people, because they do everything the best. They cannot do anything wrong. Now I'm reflecting back. I used to be, I think, a high horse person. Yeah, I thought I did everything right. Yep. We live and we learn and we grow. But in order to grow, we need to make ourselves uncomfortable and do things we don't want to do, like listening to this little thing that I put together here. So these partners that are riding their high horse think that rising above the drama is mature, when all it is it's a tactic to dismiss their partner and run away from having a hard conversation. I'm getting on my high horse and I'm riding away. And what's that do? That's dismissing the other partner. And the high horse person doesn't want to have a conversation because they don't want to hear the truth, maybe. So that's number 5. So number 6, bonus, because there's always a bonus. Nobody has an attitude adjustment. So if neither of you want to change and you fail to become flexible and open-minded, your relationship will end. And the stuff that I work with my couples is called pragmatic experiential counseling, and it's all based on scientific research. They studied couples for several years, and your relationship will fail if you don't figure things out and stop doing some of the 5 things I just shared. Okay, Richie, so you say, okay, so you talked about the 5 reasons. So what do I do with all this stuff? I said, yeah, okay. It's not easy. It involves a lot of pain. It involves a lot of self-reflection and really being uncomfortable, because I feel as though couples counseling is all about individual development, self-reflection, and reconditioning each partner's brains to not react negatively like they've been programmed to. And it is possible. But what I'm going to give you today is I'm going to give you 8 things you can do today and start you on your journey so you can try to get your relationship back on track. So I talk a lot with my hands. Sorry, it's the Italian in me. Okay. So, see here. 8 steps you can take today to get your relationship back on track. I think I messed up the slide, but that's okay. Step number 1. Yes, avoid erroneous fault findings. Stop finding fault in every little thing that your partner does. It becomes overwhelming to hear how you never do anything right. You know, it takes them maybe back to their childhood when they never could do anything right when they were kids. And they don't want that from their partner. Okay? Find what they do need, what they do right. Okay? Find what they do right and praise them for that. But if you're always walking around the house and complaining about this and that, leads to disagreement-related offenses, dismissiveness, contempt, and after a while, all that stuff is going to create resentment. So don't find fault in everything your partner does. Because if you react to them in a negative way, they're never going to change. Number 2, find the understandable part. Hey, the pen is dark gray. No, the pen is light gray. Honey, now that I think about it, it does look a little light gray. I can also see a little dark gray, but yeah, I get your point. Find the understandable part. We are arguing about opinions, values, and perspectives. Everybody's going to have their own perspective. We could go out, my wife and I can go out to a restaurant, have the same meal, have the same experience, and come back and tell 2 different stories. It's because we have different opinions, values, and perspectives, and that is so normal. Opposites attract. That's why a lot of the time partners want to strangle each other. And we go through a whole exercise of that in couples counseling, because negatives attract, because it's a survival thing it's inside of us. It's part of our DNA. We are attracted to people that have something that we're missing. So together as a couple, we are stronger. But a lot of the times, couples can't get past that stuff, and it ends up destroying the relationship because they only see the negatives and they're never able to see the other person's perspective. So I always say this: would you rather be right, or would you rather be in a happy, loving, successful relationship? If you answered, I'd rather be right, then you should be single, okay? Okay. Number 3, identifying your partner's underlying needs, values, and worries. It's not about us all the time. It's what do they need? What are my partner's values? Am I saying things to them that are triggering to them? What do they need? What do they need from me? Okay? What do they worry about? I don't know if we ever ask our partners these questions. It's like I love asking the questions to clients. What do you want? They say, well, what do I want? What do you mean? It's like, what do you want? Well, out of what do I want financially? Do I want more? No, it's like, what do you want? It's one of these questions that it's amazing, and I let it say out there. I used to use this in the psychiatric hospital when I was doing groups. What do you want? I don't even know how to answer that because nobody's ever asked me that question. So ask your partner, what do they want? What do they need? You know? Show you care. Number 4, offer assurance. Yeah. And that means pretty much don't be judgmental, and then be flexible and be open-minded. If you're going to be rigid and not want to, like I tell my couples in therapy, it's like we need to find a way to meet in the middle, okay? We need to compromise and meet in the middle, because when two opposites attract, they're going each direction. One person loves to be spontaneous, one person loves to have structure, okay? So the person with the spontaneity says, you know what, I'm always going and going and going. It's like, I would like to have a little structure in my life. So they seek out a partner who loves structure. And then the partner who loves structure saying, my life's kind of boring. I need somebody that's spontaneous. So it's like, oh, she's spontaneous. I think would be a good match. So you see how a spontaneous partner and a partner that loves structure, you see how they can see the value in each other. But what they have trouble doing is they have trouble meeting in the middle. One of them is always off the rails, spontaneous. The other one's so rigid in their structure, they are not flexible and open-minded. So those relationships struggle and those relationships end. But when they meet in the middle, sorry, there's some kind of bug flying around my face, and I had to get it. So when they can meet in the middle and be flexible and open-minded, it's like, hey, you know what? I don't need to be that rigid. Maybe I can be a little bit more flexible when it comes to this thing. And the spontaneous partner says, you know what? I could take it down a few notches and get in line with some of what my partner's saying with regards to structure about what they're talking about. So that's how we meet in the middle. Okay? So be flexible and be open-minded. Give and ask for equal regard. Okay? The high horse, that's not working out. You have to give equal regard. You got to give the other person, you got to be flexible. You got to give them equal regard. And ask for equal regard. If they're not giving you the time of day, they're not hearing and they're not listening to you, you got to do what you need to do to have them give that to you. Because relationships will not work if one partner is not hearing or seeing the other partner. And that's what typically happens when there's a lot of disagreement-related offenses go on, leading to obvious offenses, which I said are cheating. So see the other partner's point of view, okay? Respect them. Respect their values and opinions, and they have to respect yours. And if they're not doing that, then you need to do what you need to do, and that is stand up for yourself. And I teach that in couples counseling for for partners that are, we call them either doormats or conflict avoiders. There's 4 different categories. There's all bark, no bite. There's my way or the highway. There's conflict avoider. There's doormat. So the conflict avoider wants always peace. They don't want no drama. But the conflict avoider, what they do is, when they avoid conflict, they become dismissive to their partners. So conflict avoiders, they also, always, bury their emotions, and I don't want the chaos and drama. So what we teach them here, and I teach them, is that how to stand up for themselves without making a big deal about it. And it is so hard that first time. I got my couples tell me, Richie, that was so hard to do. But when I did it, I felt good. I felt empowered. And I was like, well, what did your partner think? My partner loved it because they loved that I was engaged. They felt like I was alive. They felt like I wanted to work on the relationship. So they are happy when they saw me stand up for myself. And what they also said is that they felt that I was hearing them, not just avoiding them. So stand up for yourself without making a big deal about it. Number 7, please dismount your high horse. There is no room for any high horses in a relationship, okay? Just like I said, riding the high horse and, having a huge ego, those are all relationship killers. So come down off your high horse. You don't have to be always right. Find the middle. Don't be judgmental. Don't be dismissive. We don't want to argue right and wrongs. We want to respect that our partner has their own opinions, values, and their own perspective. And know for a fact, I should have made this number 9, but know for a fact that, this is number 7.5, that you and your partner will always have disagreements. There is no couple on this planet that never argues, because that's not natural, because we tend to attract opposites. So there's going to be disagreements, but how you handle those and how you react to those are what makes or breaks a relationship. So that was 7.5. We got an extra one there. In number 8, you need to develop this self-awareness of how your reactions are not getting your partner to attend to your needs. Because if you're always critical, judgmental, and dismissive, do you think your partner's going to hear you and really give you what you need? Absolutely not. Okay? And this is one of the first things, this is phase 1 of, my class, is that, my couples counseling, is that there's like this reflection, and then we sit back and it's like, okay, what share of the dysfunction is my fault? Because if you're saying, if I have couples coming in and one partner says, oh, they're 90% at fault, 95, 100%. It's like, okay, well, we always know it takes 2 to tango. And if you're on that high horse, that is high horse talk. My partner is all to blame. No way. That's impossible. Okay? And that's one of the reasons why you're probably having challenges right now. So it's identifying that you hold some of the responsibility. Okay? And be accountable for it. And this self-awareness, this takes time. This is painful stuff to admit that you were wrong, especially if you're a high horse rider. Okay? So develop a self-awareness how your reactions are not getting your partner to give you what you need. Remember, bad reactions perpetuate bad behavior. And that is all I got for this class. And I think that's it. Maybe. Yes, it's that. It's a great picture of me, I think. That's when me and my wife had our renewed our wedding vows in Hawaii about 8 years ago, 25th wedding anniversary. So please remember that it is never too late until it is. Okay, and I've seen a lot of couples, and relationships can be repaired and can be fixed, and things that you think that you can never forgive can be healed. It all takes some time, some work, but each partner has got to be leaning into the relationship. Okay, and like I said before, I don't know if I mentioned it in this class or another class, is that if you hold resentment or are villainizing your partner, there is no way in the world, no matter who teaches you what, that you will be able to move forward and have a successful relationship. Okay, because that first thing we need to tackle is the resentment and the villainizing your partner, thinking that it's all their fault. So that's it. That's all I have. I'm going to shut up because I talk too much. RichiePryor.com. If you have any questions, there's links all over the place to contact me, blah, blah, blah. And I will see you again. I hope this was helpful. And that's it. Bye.